Monday Night Raw. And pull up my notes here. So happy that Dom won. I don't care that Judgment Day interfered. I'm just glad he got to pin Damian. And that is the highlight of the night for me. I'm just excited. I screamed legit. If I'm usually with friends when I'm watching Raw, and I legit screamed when he won. Because I was really expecting him not to win with just the way Damian was throwing them around. I was already not liking the match. He was throwing them around and he's just shrugging off people. And when Dom got that pin, I was ecstatic. I would have ran, but I couldn't at that particular moment. But I was just legit screaming. And then the aftermath. What the fuck was that aftermath? Did you notice how the crowd didn't even like it anymore towards the end? It was too prolonged out. It didn't accomplish anything. It was just Damian being a little bitch and a sore loser and just repeatedly wailing on Dom. What did that accomplish? Is he trying to turn back heel? You see how the crowd reacted? They didn't have nothing. They were uncomfortable as fuck. So you can see now what I've been telling people about Rhea is now transferring over to Damian. It's going to come to the point where crowds are not going to fuck with this anymore and they're going to turn on him. Because what the heck was that? Why did you have to beat Dom like that? I can understand one beat down. He got one over and he pinned you. You're upset. You get one beat down. And then you get the one beat down and then Dom can roll out the wing and celebrate while he's hurt. But this prolonged beat down, just for what purpose? Isn't Damian El Champion or El Ex Champion? Isn't this your baby face? Do babyface act like this? I don't even think Roman Reigns, big dog Roman Reigns, was acting like this. Now, he had a lot of excuses to beat up other heels because heels would do shit to him. But I don't even remember him just doing this really long and prolonged beatdown for no reason. It's not like Dom had injured him and he was coming back and he was getting his leg back. Dom didn't do anything to him. That's why I'm flabbergasted at the way they went about that. So you have this bro code violator, this sore ass bitch, just wailing away on Dom for no reason at all. There's no point to that. What is that established? And then when he raises his arms on his turnbuckle, you could hear a pin drop. I bet. Now I'm thinking now you can easily shift Judgment Day or at least Liv Dom and Raquel to tweener status now. And maybe this is the point to all this. Maybe they see the writing on the wall, especially with Bloodline, which I'll get into in a few more moments. But you can see now that they've taken away Dom and Bricolo, you've been right. What you said about Dom being taken away from Rhea exposing her, you could probably say the same thing for Dom. Because Dom helped Damian out too. Damian has been exposed without having Dom. Rhea has been exposed without having Dom. And now that he's away from him and he's going off and building off other things, now they're exposed and now they don't know what to do because they botched the face turns. Rhea could have been the baby face that they wanted if they just let her be weak, and I had to get to her ass later on too. Damian could have been the baby face that everybody wanted. But you don't go about it this way. Baby faces don't act like that. Even edgy baby faces don't act like that. Stone Cold, when he raid tail and leave, he wasn't doing this to somebody just so prolonged on one person, and when he did, the crowd did turn on him. You remember Lita, when he was beating up Lita? If anybody's old enough, when Stone Cold weed on Lita, that kind of turned people on him because you just don't do that. Even a raising hell type face, you can't do certain things. You'll mess up your face turn, your whole face trajectory, just over some idiotic moves like this. I'm gonna get to the questions later because I gotta get my rant out and then I'll come back to your questions. I'll keep putting them in the comments. I'll come back to them. And Damian, and JD and Carlito are real ones. JD, towards the end, was holding up Dom's arm, which he's a real one for that. And then Carlito took that shot. Carlito, that's probably maybe something for going on for what he said last week, but he took that shot. So props to Carlito and JD towards the end. And notice how Raquel was holding back Liv. Not now, for people that have always wanted to think, oh, Liv is using Dom, you don't have any kind of reaction Liv was having to Dom getting beaten like that. Liv was selling her ass off, acting wise. when she was watching Dom get beat. Raquel was having to hold her back. Also, you got that nice little group there. And dare I say, I don't even remember Rhea having that reaction. Yeah, Rhea had a reaction to Dom getting taken to jail. But just basically that kind of reaction that Liv had, not like that. And then somebody on the X pointed out, how come Raquel couldn't do anything against Damian? That could have been a nice establishing moment for Raquel to put her on equal footing with Rhea. I'm not expecting Raquel to do a whole bunch of damage to Damian, but she could have done something. So again, once again, how come Rhea gets this preferential treatment? Raquel could have used this to establish herself, but we don't get that. And speaking of Rhea, what was her gaslighting ass talking about in her promo? This woman can reference what Raquel did all the way back in NXT, but she can't reference what she's done to Dom and Liv and Raquel in this past year. Do you believe this? And then she's like, oh, I've done some mistakes. You did a plenty of mistakes. You've done a lot. I'm not understanding why they are so hell bent on not referencing any kind of history with Rhea, especially with the Bloodline. They got to stop running Bloodline promos alongside Rhea's because she is getting her ass exposed. Because she's saying the same shit the same way. I never lost my title. I'm going for my title. You'll have to kill me. You've been saying that for the past 3 months. You still haven't gotten the title because you want to wail on not on Damian, Dom's ass. Give it up. They got to stop running Bloodline promos against Rhea, or at least on the same show. They got to stop. She got exposed here too. That's probably why the crowd didn't want to mess with Damian now, because everything is exposed with them. She's saying the same stuff. They don't even want to reference history. But in the same promo, right after Rhea, what did we get? Sammy talking to Jay about what Roman's did to Jay. That's history. That's being referenced. If you've been following the Bloodline storyline for 3+ years now, you're getting rewarded for following that history. Are we getting rewarded for following what's going on with Rhea, Liv, Dom, and Raquel? No, because they absolutely refuse to acknowledge anything with Rhea. This is not keeping her a face. This is not even helping her to be a face. Actually, guys, she wasn't even on the show. I would have lost my shit if she had started running out there at that beatdown with Damian. Because she's not needed. It's a small miracle that she didn't run out there. But nothing can be referenced with Rhea. Nothing. I made some little mistakes. Bullshit. You made a lot of mistakes. You took out Liv's arm. You betrayed Liv, first of all. Liv didn't do anything to you. It's the same thing with the ultimatum with Damian throwing Dom under the bus. Dom didn't do anything to Rhea and Damian to get that kind of treatment towards him. Same thing with Liv didn't do anything to Rhea that earned that kind of treatment. And when they tried to stick up for Natty because Rhea wanted to be a bully and they got taken out and injured, now you don't want to apologize. You don't see anything wrong. This woman, she just aggravates me so much. And then she keeps saying that Liv and Raquel got what they deserve. What did they deserve? What? All of what Rhea has been getting is karma for what she's done this past year. I'm not understanding why the WWE is so hell-bent on not just writing this as karma for her so she can start at the bottom and work her way up. Why can't she eat the ice cream? Why can't she have a sad movie face? Why can't she reflect on anything? Make it where she has no friends. She's got to work her way up to Zelina. She's got to build her trust back up with Lyra. She could be doing that. No, she's in this world. We're in this whirlpool of suck just because she wants the title. Can she go to SmackDown? Go chase after Nia for a little bit. Go chase after Nia. Go after Tiffany when she cashes in. Go do something. I'm done. I'm just done. I can't deal with her or Damian. They're just the Terror Twins are just feeding off of each other. They don't make sense. And I think now the WWE is realizing they are being held up because there has been some interesting conversations on the X on how Rhea is over, but she cannot get her booking over. I had a tweet go almost 1 million plus just because I said that there is differences in the way they're being booked. One face turn is failing, which is Rhea, and one is thriving, which is Roman. Like, at this point, it's just failed. They either got to scrap everything or they can try to course correct. And I'm not even sure they can course correct at this point. Because when it hits Survivor Series, and I'm going to throw down the gauntlet and make a bold prediction, SummerSlam will expose both Damian and Rhea, and they're going to get booed, and then the WWE are not going to know what to do with them. Because now, if you look at some spoilers from SmackDown, even they in the crowd were thinking that Rhea was going to show up. It's getting to the crowd. Now the crowd though is getting to the point where they're going to react to Rhea and Damian like they did Big Dog Roman Reigns and John Cena. They're over. But overness does not overcome shitty booking. And that's my rant. Like I said, with Bloodline, Bloodline was really. I wasn't really wanting a whole bunch of Bloodline on here. I was more expecting it to be on SmackDown. But what we got, again, like I said, it just exposes Rhea and Damian because Jay is talking about what Jimmy did to him, how he did stuff on his own. And again, you're getting rewarded for that. You're not. Jimmy and Jay's history is not being forgotten just because they want to throw Jimmy and Jay back together. And then even Jay says that they still want to be individuals while they're still twins. I have twins. I get what they mean by that. You want to keep your own individuality, and that's what Jay wants. And you're rewarded for that history. He's not forgetting what Jimmy did. Then we get the promo later after the Rhea promo. Sammy comes up to talk to Jay. He's like, "Hey, I've seen. You don't have to do this. You don't have to take the lesser of two evils." And then Jay gives you that sucker punch shot in the heart, saying that Sammy is a family, and I'm like, "Ow!" That's a reaction for me. Ouch! That hurt. That even I'm not even that much invested in the Bloodline storyline, but I was going ouch again. But since I know the history of what's going on, I know how desperate Sammy wants to be a part of the Bloodline. Not last year. Well, 2 years ago, I know how Sammy wanted to be a part of the Bloodline. So that's the chart to the heart. And then later on, you see Sammy talking to Solo. If they want to do Sammy going there, I can cuss with that. I wouldn't have a problem with it because that's something that gives a little bit of intrigue. Now that Jay wants, and then there's another thing Jay was saying to Jimmy when Jimmy was all like, "He's not family." Jay was like, "Hey, he was the one that had my back." So again, you're getting rewarded for this to know this history because Sammy did have Jay's back. But if they want to do something with Sammy and Solo, I wouldn't mind with it because Solo and Sammy were actually pretty good, if I remember correctly. Solo at that particular moment was all about Roman Reigns, but it's not like Solo had problems with Sammy. Jay did limit initially. But this Raw, just to go home show, I think they're just trying to get to past Crown Jewel so they can get to Survivor Series War Games. I'm guessing this is when we're going to have Team Bloodline, but it seems like they're running that so fast because you're going to have Bloodline fighting at Crown Jewel. So what are you going to do? You're going to run it again at Survivor Series as a War Game match? I don't know. But at least we're getting, at least some of the women are getting mixed up. We're getting, looks like we're going to get a feud with American males, if you know what you know, with American males. But it looks like American Made is going to be going up against the LWO, which is good. You're getting some new feuds now. Chad went out there and put an ankle on Rey Mysterio, who actually had some nice gear this time. War Machine, not War Machine. Is that War Machine? War Raiders. They're going to be going up against JD and Finn for the tag team. I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe that's going to be maybe that Monday after all, because I know they're going to tape a Raw after Crown Jewel. So they can just have that there and they can travel a little bit easier. So maybe they'll put a tag team title match there. I fully expect, is it War Machine or War Raiders? They changed their name so many times, I don't know. If it's War Raiders, if they do get it, they might get it that title, but they might want to wait for a PLE. They might want to do another sneak win where Judgment Day sneaks off that win, and then maybe at another PLE they'll get it. And what else? Oh, R-Truth slapping the fire out of Miz was hilarious because Miz really thought that Truth was gonna be back in line, and then the Truth just slapped the fire out of him. I've never been so happy for that because I do like R-Truth, but he can be too much with the idiot savant role that he does sometimes, and it's just too much. Like he gets too silly, but at least now that he's actually showing, like he knows that what Miz did to him. He kind of played into that role and then slapped the fire out of Miz. Bronson and Seth was really cool. Again, they're fighting off future Hall of Famers and World Heavyweight Champions with WWE security there. Seth curve storms Bronson on the car, and then Bronson like miraculously revives to go fight off Seth, and then do a Death Valley driver off the production truck onto some really nice place tables there. Thank you, Lindsay, for liking. But that was actually pretty fun. I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. I hope Bronson wins that fight at Crown Jewel because I think Bronson needs that build up. Seth can win at other times. I'm gonna go back up, answer some questions. I'll cut it out, and then I kind of talk about, but I gotta watch that video segment a little bit more. I cleaned off of it before I went live. Anybody got a synopsis of what Finn did? I know he was saying he didn't really want the tag titles or something like that, and he's mean mugging. Of course he is, because he's a demented demon. 97. Honestly, I really did not enjoy this episode. It had too much Bloodline. Bloodline needs to stay on SmackDown, and I think those segments could have been better used for Judgment Day promos. Like, he could have used that to build up what's going on with Dom and Judgment Day. Him wanting to do things on his own. And do you hear what he said? What Dom said when they asked Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce, who he was facing it with Damian, why don't you guys believe me? And I was like, oh, Dominik. Liv and Raquel are all like supporting him though, so that made it a little bit better. I really think those three are going to go split off. I really think that they've seen that they have the vibe check that they want. It's going to be another DX. They're going to get split off. And I think is coming sooner rather than later. You still might have some iteration of Judgment Day. I wouldn't be even surprised. You can even go like Finn, JD, and Carlito out, and then you can keep Dom, Liv, and Raquel in Judgment Day, and then they just can spin it up like DX. Be DX, be more tweenerish, and you can roll from it there, and then Finn and JD and Carlito can go do something else. I did not like the Clubhouse thing. I'm not a Dom fan, but he looked like they didn't believe in Dom. I really don't like people laughing at Dom, and that's why I guess people weren't really liking the beatdown either, because he's been watching Dom these past 2 years, or even further, and when he debuted, he's been working his ass off. I say he's been working his ass off a lot more than some of these other wrestlers. So when you're seeing like just laughing at him and things like that, you're booking him to be like that. You're booking him to be presented this way. There's being a chicken shit heel, and then there's just being a laughing stock. And at this point, I think they're hopefully with this thing, maybe this beatdown is his initiation for a change in his character work, because now he has that win. Because I would really think that it would be really something if Dom managed to get a win on Gunther and win the title. If they can totally do that with the way Dom's character is, they can shift it a little bit. He steals that win, and then he could carry that belt for a little bit. I'm not saying he loses it right back, but he can hold it. You can give him like a nice little 100-day run there, and then drop his ass. Because not all titles need to have this huge long title run. And Gunther is really disinteresting to me. I know he's really good, but there's a lot of good wrestlers on the show I'm way more interested in watching than Gunther. I don't care about Gunther. I mean, I didn't like Gunther when he was the Intercontinental title. I could skip past his promos, his matches, and things like that. I watched him when he was facing Dom or anybody I was interested in, Gary or something like that. But I'm not interested in him. I'm not going to stop down and watch a Gunther promo. I'm not going to stop down and watch a Gunther match unless there's somebody in there that I'm interested in. He's not the most interesting person on the show. I mean, Cody is kind of dropping off, but he's still the interesting guy because he works the crowd. People want to see him. They chant along with his song. He's still up there. Gunther has dropped way off for me. Colo says you can see Damian was so mad because he knows Dom is going to win going to the championship. I can see him being mad, and I can even see him having one beatdown. I wasn't expecting Dom to not get out unscathed with Damian. But at this point with Damian, he is booked too superhuman. If you're going to have this type of booking with Damian, he should have not lost the title. Now he's shrugging off everything. Now he can't sell. Now he can shrug off like 2 and 3 coup de grâces to the back of the neck. Like, the booking don't make sense with Damian. I think, and like I said, it now is he's exposed, and now people are like he's getting all this superhuman booking where not everybody else gets that. And that's the thing too, because you got people that are strong and can hold their own, like take Bronson. Bronson is super strong. He's getting a monster push, but he's showing things of like weaknesses. If people can take it to Bronson, so take it to Bronson. R-Truth was taking it to Bronson. Miz was taking it to Bronson, but he can. People are actually can get some hits in. He can clicks in and stuff like that. Seth was able to fight him to a tie almost, but Bronson he can show weak characters. I would believe Bronson being a character that can shrug off stuff more than Damian. Why is Damian like shrugging off attacks? And that's what made me not like the match so much. Because that the match started, I was really liking that Dom went after him first, which I was like, hey, this is nice, it's some aggression. But then Dom starts getting ragdolled by Damian. Like just shrugging off everything. I'm tired of Damian shrugging off stuff. Even though I talked crap about Gunther earlier, Gunther wasn't even shrugging off Dom's attacks earlier this year. Why is it that everybody else can say it can sell Dom's attacks but Damian? That doesn't make sense. And then you're gonna want to throw Dom in there with a potential match with Rhea? Please. I think we're getting tired of the back and forth Terra Twins Judgment Day there dragging. And the problem is the booking. It's the Terra Twins booking. If they had just let Judgment Day fail and be heels and actually beat the Terra Twins down a little bit where they're walk bottom, and then now they started building themselves up, I think it would have been better. That's the thing. They didn't want to reference history. Nobody brings up that Damian said that he didn't need Judgment Day. Nobody brings up how Damian was treating Dom, playing in Dom's face regarding Jay. Nobody brings up how Rhea was acting towards Dom with you belong to me, but I don't belong to anyone. Why do you say that to your boyfriend? And then you want to wonder why Dom turned on your ass. Like, make it make sense. Like, you don't want to reference all that. And that's what people are remembering. If anybody's been following the Live Dom Judgment Day stuff, you remember all the stuff. And when it's not being referenced, and then you want to either just mildly gloss over it, people are going to be upset. You're not being rewarded for knowing the history. I know the history. I've been following Judgment Day for 2 years. It annoys me that my intelligence is insulted because I know the history. When you're trying to rewrite it and trying to say that, and you're trying to have Ray say that Rhea was better for Dom than Liv is, when Rhea was the one that tore apart Ray's family, it insults my intelligence. Is my intelligence getting insulted with watching the Bloodline? No, I'm not. I have yet to this day seen something where I go, that's a lie when I'm watching any of the Bloodside stuff. Every time Rhea opens her mouth, I can almost say that's a lie, or you're gaslighting me, or you're just glossing over stuff. Every time with Rhea, and it shouldn't be like that. Rhea was supposed to be the baby face for women, maybe even for the company. Maybe she could have been competing with Cody Rhodes. That could have been your baby face, but they fucked it all up for no reason because they don't want to risk Rhea getting booed. And hey, maybe she does get booed a little bit, but then you would have been acknowledging her past. She did her shit. She did a lot of shit. Again, that reference with Bayley and Bianca. Bianca to this day does not fuck with Bayley, but does that hurt Bayley's face run? No. Does this hurt Bianca's face run right now? No. It's a very nice callback how Bianca don't want to mess with her. I don't really still to this day do not get why they are so hell bent on not wanting Rhea's past to be acknowledged. Damian's too. There's so much material that they could have done, and then all of a sudden, and we get all the nice confirmation with what's happened is all in Dom and Liv's interviews, and it shouldn't be like that. I don't want to listen to an interview of Dom and Liv just to get confirmation of certain things. That should be on TV. Damian and Rhea's babyface turn is a failure. I said that. People wanted to come after me on the X. Oh, it's not a failure. Rhea's over. Being over and being a booking failure are two different things. Like I said, she is over. But for how long? Will she get that ultra babyface status that they were pushing for her to do? Probably not at this point, because they botched it. They could have done so much with Rhea. They could have done so much with Damian. You could have had Dom and Liv as ultra heel couple, not breaking Rhea's heart, stomping on it, tell them what they did. They set you up. We took you out. I was cheating on you with Liv. We could have done so much. But now we just have Rhea being a bunny boiler. Bitter ex. I, to this day, do not get why they want to go with Rhea being a bitter ex instead of someone that was heartbroken over Dom. I don't get it. Dom softened her up. You should have been able to get some of that vulnerability with Dom betraying her. She could have been presenting as hard as nails to the outside, but with Dom she's soft, and then we don't get that. It's just Ray and the same stuff with her. It's insufferable at this point. Dom is the glue. Yep, he is the glue. He keeps everything together. And then once he breaks apart from you, you either sink or swim. And right now, the Terra Twins, they're sinking. Carla says he saw the pot when Dom come up. Dom gets the pot by now, but by the way everything was doing, how everything is being handled now, you might get Dom as a tweener sooner than later. Because I still don't think they want to cheer him just yet. It's getting there, but 9 times out of 10, the crowd is just going to boo Dom. You'll get that nice pop, and then they'll go into a boo status. It's not going to be a sustained cheer just yet. Now, he could end up being like what Kurt Angle did and be like his boos are kind of Kurt Angle's "You Suck." If anybody remembers that boo's theme song. But I don't think we're just there just yet. They're calling Dom the God, the GOAT. Yep, he is the GOAT. Honestly, love Rhea, 97 says, but she doesn't really need the title. She's good without. Yeah, she really does not need the title. She just had the title. I don't want her with the belt right now. She just had it for over a year. What are you going to do? Is there any faces, or not faces, is there any heels for her to face right now? No. Who are you going to Who is she going to face right now? If she won the title today, who is she facing? She's just going to carry it around like she did last year? Because that's what was the problem with her title run then. She was always involved with the guys stuff. And she wasn't, and then every title match she had, pretty much, it was just pretty much glorified squashes. Until towards the end with Nia and Becky. And Raquel. Let's see. You saw the last backstage segment. The clubhouse where Finn was talking down on JD for helping John. Well, I need to go back and watch that, because why are you talking down to JD then? Like, are you that upset about Damian? Like, you could have went out there and did something. 97 says, I'm getting exhausted with the whole story. People are losing interest because it's the same stuff, and they don't want to break Rhea out. Rhea needed to just go do something on her own. Scrap Daddy should have just been telling her, hey, you've already had your chance at the title. You need to start at the bottom and move some other people in there to take on Liv. I want to see Liv face against Kyrie. I want to see Liv first face against Io. I want to see Liv against Lyra. I wouldn't even mind like going against the Party Girls, Tana Chance and Kaden Carter. I wouldn't mind that. I want to see Liv against some other people. We can't do it because Rhea is always there circling the drain. We don't need that. Rhea needs to go face somebody. Not like, look at how she's barely wrestling. Now with Liv, this is by design because she's a title holder, and even Gunther doesn't wrestle all that often when you're a title holder. But Liv was at least on Raw when Rhea wasn't there. She was actually on Raw wrestling and doing some stuff and getting in there physically. Rhea hasn't really done that. She just comes in, stomps everybody, and just leaves. Like, what kind of protective booking is this? If you're going to be doing this, why does Rhea need the title? Rhea could just be at home. Rhea could be right now just be taking a prolonged time off just to sell a betrayal. She could have came back, did the summer thing, had the betrayal, and then she could have been off for a little bit selling the betrayal. But let her be heartbroken. And then if you want to come in later with some promos with her wanting to get her vengeance, then it would have came off a lot better. They're going to have more Rhea. They're going to have to move Rhea to SmackDown over Raw's Kingdom Kingdom. I think they have to. I'm almost saying like a preemptive trade. They move Rhea and Jay to SmackDown for somebody who's over there on SmackDown that can come over to Raw. I don't know, but they could do a trade or something. Do a like trade between brands. Oh. Speaking of SmackDown and Raw, did you notice how Grab Daddy was getting after, what is it, Aldous probably, for having Bloodline come over, or for the Bloodline coming over to attack Jay and Jimmy? He's saying like he allowed Jimmy to come over, but not the Bloodline. I was like, oh, you can say that regarding Bloodline showing up without authorization, but y'all didn't say nothing regarding Rhea showing up after Mom Liv and Raquel, because she had no business being over there. She doesn't involve with that. She's not involved with the Nia and Liv feud. So why she show up? Why come she couldn't be like? Why couldn't Nick Aldis be calling Adam Pearce and saying, "Hey, how come Rhea showed up over to my show when I only gave permission for Liv, Donna, Raquel to be on here?" You see, that's the booking that irks me, is when you do stuff like that. It's a brand split. You cover this brand split by having Scrap Daddy be mad with Nick Aldis for letting Bloodline come over when he gave Jimmy permission, but then you let Rhea just do whatever she wants without any consequence. You have to cover for everybody. Let's see, what else? Hold on. I comment skipped. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. They're going downhill with some of the booking. I think Triple H is getting exposed with his booking. He does long-term booking, and some of that long-term booking can be really good, but most of the time it's been really, really bad. And I think he's really getting exposed as a booker. How do you think Finn turning on Dom will go? Sweetheart ask. I don't think it's going to be Finn turning on Dom. Now, he might crash out and become the demon if Dom wins the title, because that would be interesting. But if anything, I think it's going to be Finn getting kicked out. That just goes along with the history of Judgment Day. You start getting swelled head, you're the next one to go. Dom hasn't really had a swelled head. Even Liv and Raquel haven't really had a swelled head. That's been Finn kind of been building up. So that's if you follow Judgment Day history, it's gonna be Finn probably getting kicked out, not Dom, or turned on. He does so much in the business. I was a fan. The pandemic around, no can do it. Yep. Being Ricola says, I think when WWE saw that Dom delivered the future, and they put Raw in their back. They carried Raw. Liv and Dom carried Raw. It was them that was having these record-breaking views on social media. And then I always find it laughable when the people will go, well, when the WWE was trying to be slick and put in like it was bringing all these views on like Instagram. What was it, last week or something like that? Are we not forgetting that Dom and Liv had some record-breaking social media views just this year by themselves, and Rhea wasn't involved? Notice how a lot of these views with Rhea is either Dom or Liv in there, and even when Liv wasn't involved, and it was Rhea and Dom that was bringing in those views those couple of years ago. It's not just Rhea by herself. They need to stop. They're manipulating stuff, and people are probably now just are seeing through it. Pop was so loud when it came out. Yep. I think people are getting ready to cheer, but he's just not there yet. But he's gonna get pops. 97 says Gary Gunther carries no interest. He's a champ, but nothing about him makes you go, wow. He's a good wrestler. He has a really solid chop, and he's decent. But character-wise, I'm not interested in him. And I get he's a heel, but sometimes a lot of these insults be like, okay. He's insulting Cody. What was it? Last SmackDown? And he cut him off, and that was kind of interesting, but it's not holding my interest. See, Adam making a rematch. I don't care. I don't know. Adam has hostility with Dom. Adam is, I don't know. Scrap Daddy is Scrap Daddy. Hopefully, if Scrap Daddy was fair about it, he would be addressing what Damian did the next Raw, and we'll see what he does. Are you gonna let that slide? Are you gonna let that slide? What Damian did, Scrap Daddy, or are you going to address him and be like, hey? I get that Judgment Day interfered and Dawn won, but you can't behave like that. That needs to be addressed. Is Liz Dawn era the whole Raw roster knows it? Yep, this is their era. Let's see here. Rhea refuses to look weak. Damian saw himself bigger than That's the thing. They have to have weaknesses. You have to have some vulnerability, and faces have to take some losses too. Like Dom is the one that always has to be taking these losses. Rhea and Damian can take a loss. It's not going to kill them. Like right now, like with Damian, it's not going to kill you to take a loss. Rhea should have been too. Taking a loss, it's not going to kill you. Actually, it makes it for a better storyline because faces usually chase the heels. You don't usually get it the other way around. Not everybody's going to be Drew. And even Drew was taking some losses. Drew was taking some losses. Cody was taking some losses. Cody's taking a loss. Why is it everybody else's face can take a loss, but Damian and Rhea can't? Younger generation loves Dom. They call him the god. Dom locked in that younger demographic already, and that's gonna help him in the future. Because he'll have fans for life. Hope Raquel gets a title shot one day. Honestly, that will push her so much she needs it. Yeah, I love Big Mommy Cool. And I'm really happy that she's back. I'm hoping that she can control her mass syndrome that kept her out. So I can see her getting a title shot. She was teasing a title shot with Bianca and Jade. I wouldn't be minding seeing Liv as a double champ. It's probably moving another belt to another faction, but still, I wouldn't mind it. Let everybody have some gold. Rhea is Triple H's lost child. She can do whatever she wants. I have the theory that Triple H is trying to make up for what he did to China with dealing with Rhea, but it's not going to come across the same because Rhea is not going to be like China because she's not doing things that China did. Like I said before, China took hits from the guys. You can't be having Rhea just be out there beating up guys and then not getting her lick back. China became beloved because she stood tall and she was tough against guys. You guys can do all of the moves that they can do with guys against China, but China took some solid licks, and that's not what's happening with Rhea, and that's what's going to hold her back because now people are going to see this preferential booking. When crowds start seeing that preferential booking, they're going to turn hard because all crowds have their favorites. And if they know that their favorites are getting hindered by somebody with some preferential booking and treatment, they're not going to like it and it's going to get turned on. The crowds aren't stupid. They're casual and they might not know what all is going on the internet. They're not going on the internet to look up dirt sheet rumors and things like that. They're smart enough to know that what they saw tonight with Damian against Dom was too much. If they were really into Damian beating up Dom, they would have been cheering. They didn't do that. And you can blame, well, maybe the crowd was uninterested. No, they popped when they needed to. They popped when Dom, like Bricola said, and they popped throughout the show. But you can't take the live crowd for being idiots. And like I said, I'm going to throw down a gauntlet and say it's going to be Survivor Series when things are going to come to a head and they can't course correct, and then everybody's screwed with regarding Rhea and Damian. They're going to either have to flip them back heel or they're going to have to get written off for a little bit. Oh, it's Black Nova. Hey, Black Nova. Thank you for the light. Hold on. I lost my questions again. Hurry. Let's see. Hold on. Answer that. Answer that. Honestly, I would love to see Demon Lord come back. I'm a big fan of that character of him. I think I've been wanting Demon Lord. I think he needed to kind of come back already. If he's going to be coming back, he should have probably came back at Bad Blood. That's why I keep thinking that's what I'm going to happen with Finn. Like, he's just going to lose it, and then here comes Demon Lord. But I'm not sure at this particular moment. My favorite Jeff Hardy took loads of losses, but he's still great. You see, with faces, you got to lose. You have to overcome something to conquer the heel. Unless you're Hulk Hogan, but we're past the point of being with Hulk Hogan just winning everything. And even Hulk Hogan took losses. Real American Hulk Hogan, yeah. Someone with a similar skin condition, I know it's hard, but I'm happy for Kel. Yeah, I'm really happy that she's overcome that mass syndrome to be back. She's been looking good. She's been having some really great looks, so I'm really happy with her look now. And I personally, Destiny says, I personally don't think Dom deserved that. No, he didn't. Even Dom, like I said, Dom hasn't done that much to Damian, but Damian has done a whole bunch to Dom. Like, Dom turned on his bestie, okay, that was just way too prolonged. And after a loss, too, like, just being sore loser, whiny bitch, because you lost. And then the loss was his fault because he was too distracted with trying to get Carlito's ass. Again, see, this is that distraction thing again. Like, going after Carlito when you should be focusing on Dom. Rhea was focusing on Dom when she should have been going after Liv. Like, is this intentional? Like, knowing that the Terror Twins can get distracted over little shit. But yeah, the beat down was. The beat down was too much. She honestly gives me confidence to be out there. Yeah, I did 97. I know how it is with skin conditions, especially when you're just trying to. The skin is so an outward facing of yourself. So when you have skin conditions that are painful, like myself, I always get like really itchy welts that to this day I don't get why they come out, and no doctor will know why they come out. They get itch like and something you have to deal with, and hopefully that it doesn't flare up to a point where you're just super itchy all the time. With me at least. But I'm glad she's handling it. Let's see. The goats. Hopefully, guys, with this Dom thing. See, okay, I'll give you spoilers for SmackDown. Dom was out there with Liv and Raquel talking with Nia and Tiffany on SmackDown. So we know that this wasn't a beatdown that is taking Dom out of action. So, and we saw him for Raw Talk. So we know that Dom's not going to be out. So hopefully this is a character shift for Dom, and he'll be able to do more with his character and finally be advantage to take he'll finally be able to take advantage of things that go his way, because he's just doing a lot more stuff that's getting a lot of eyeballs on him, and he needs to be able to be rewarded for that. So if they want to throw the belt on him by sneaking it off of Gunther, I am all aboard. Because I was really thinking he was going to IC, but if they want to hotshot him the world heavyweight title for a little bit, I have no problem with that. He deserves it. This is when he can take advantage of being a little chicken shit heel and run away from challengers. Like, can be a menace to Scrap Daddy, where he's kind of, and then he can be a power couple with Liv for a little bit. It doesn't have to be that long, carry it to maybe, I wouldn't mind WrestleMania. Take it past WrestleMania, let him drop it, and then he can do something else like his Madden, and he goes for the Money in the Bank, and then we're off and rolling again. So he can take a title. I have no problem with that. And that could be a nice way of getting the belt off Gunther if they want to throw him onto SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like, want to have Gunther on SmackDown to fight Cody, because they want to do some form of Rocky 4, and then you could sneak the belt off Gunther that way, give it to Dom, and Gunther can go off and do something else. He has only won one title, and honestly, how big he's been sure to change that shit. Yes, Dom has won the tag title, and he won the NXT North American title. And see, that's the problem with having these wrestlers have long ass title reigns, because it jams up things where wrestlers should be getting a title. Dom last year should have been probably getting like the US title for how over he was. But that was locked up with, who had that belt? Was that not LA Knight? Was that, who had that title? Was that Ray or something like that? Whoever had it, like weird, like that should have switched, like Intercontinental title and the US title should never swap brands. US should have stayed on Raw, where Dom could have got it. And then you could have had him run it and then lose it, and then he could be slowly moving his way up. But not everybody needs to have a long ass title reign. It gets boring because you start running through all your competition, and then by the time the person loses it, the other persons are damaged because they couldn't win against that person. You know what I mean? Kind of like Gunther ran through all his challenges, kind of Roman ran through all his challengers. Had to keep going back to the well twice for Roman. Owens, Sammy, Finn, LA Knight. They have to get somebody like Logan Paul. Not every title needs a huge long title reign. There has to be balance. Dom ready to create a title in the universe. I'm ready to let Triple H know he won Dom with the title. Yep. Honestly, Wesley for Dom for the North American title. I didn't understand it. I think they just needed that because they needed Dom for a title for the optics, and they couldn't get any other belt off. And then they were using Dom to go into NXT to sharpen up his skills. And they couldn't get any other belt off. And then they were using Dom to go into NXT to sharpen up his skills. And they couldn't get any other belt off. And then they were using Dom to go into NXT to sharpen up his skills. And they couldn't get any other belt off. And then they were using Dom to go into NXT to sharpen up his skills. Getting him down there to get his reps in without it being a demotion. So I think it was, yes, because Dom needed to be in NXT for reps, and they didn't want to demote him. Yeah. What time is it? Ooh. Some other questions. Oh, puzzle piece. What do you mean unable to verify? Okay. Very too much magic, yeah. Honestly, thought Liv and Dom would be like Trish and Christian. They have similar things. Yeah. Or Trish and Christian, they can't even be Edge and Lita. They could be more Edge and Lita that are really care about each other. But But what Dom and Liv have is really, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. They have too much chemistry. Dom, Liv, and Raquel have way much chemistry. I am really surprised at how fast those three gelled. And I think that's probably why we're getting some fast forwarding of Finn acting like the minute demon that he is. Because I think it's going to be Finn breaking off, and then JD, and then Carlito. And then you can leave, and I think you can leave Dom, Liv, and Raquel as Judgment Day proper. Because I don't think they want to give up the group at this point, or the group name. So they'll just like members and then remake it as what they see fit. Liv and Dom reminds me of high school couples. It's natural. Yeah. And then if they kind of that newlywed phase, they're lovey-dovey. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff later on, but for right now, they shouldn't have that. It's kind of like how Raquel came in without any stripe, and I really like that. Because Raquel didn't really need to have any stripe. And, really was talking about Raquel and mistakes and things like that. Like, is it that Dom could admit that he needed to work something out with Raquel regarding what he's done to Raquel, because he did cost her. It was Rhea pulling him to the ring, but he did cost Raquel the title. But how is it that Dom can admit that, but Rhea can't admit what she's done to Raquel? You see, it's those little things that are irksome. Dom is taking responsibility to what he's done to Raquel, but Rhea can't take any kind of responsibility. I'm not getting what they're going with her. Are just this character that doesn't care? You can't write a character that doesn't care what they've done, but they won't be a face. They'll be a tweener. Or maybe even a justified heel, but they won't be a face. You can't write a face that way. That's like booking 101. You can't write a face like that where they just don't care. I mean, Carl might cheer them, but they won't be that face. You can't do it like that. I don't like their TV character, but outside me and Liv are similar. Also, Dom, he's 5 months older. Yeah. Well, okay. In an hour, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to try and do a live after Crown Jewel. I'm going to try. It depends on what's going on. If I can get on live. If I can't do the live, I might do it that night. Like, I can't do it like after Crown Jewel. I might do a live that night. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to see if I can post some stuff. This TikTok is going to be split up into a little podcast that I post on YouTube. You can follow me on the X, WRMaven, WWE. If you want to see my off-the-cuff reactions to things, like I put on there, like Amy's a little bitch. I have other comments there as well. I try to comment on NXT and SmackDown. I also do a little bit of AEW, not all. I follow certain wrestlers like MXM and Mansoor. I follow those guys, and I like them because they're so hilarious. So you'll see me like that. Thank you, 97. Good night, everybody. Good night. I will talk to y'all later. I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm really glad you were on this journey with me. I hit 900 subscribers on YouTube, and that really means a lot that people are really listening to me and not listening to me. I'm not just yelling into the void. So I really do appreciate it, and I'm really glad you joined my likes. So I will talk to you later. But for now, I'm just saying.